Is there anything else? Anybody else?
I'd like to say one more thing. You know, I heard it in a few of these letters, and we all know the reason why we're here tonight. We've got a few people in the community that are going to benefit from these turbines. And they're
John, we're not supposed to be talking about
Oh, wait.
anything else but that.
And they were in a hurry to get them up. And they put a new administration in place, which is fine. And that's the reason we're here tonight. Because the people that want the turbines want these guys off. And that needs to, and if you disagree with me, if anybody disagrees with me, tell me. Do I have it wrong?
No.
I disagree.
Way wrong.
Way right.
Time out. Yes,
Mr. Henry, Charles Henry. My issue, my concern is over liability. I'm concerned that the board may make a decision tonight that will put all of us in financial difficulties, and I am hopeful that you as a board will make the right decision, and I hope that Mr. Salins will advise you accordingly before you take your vote. Because as a taxpayer, I don't want the liability if you vote the wrong way and this comes back. I don't want to have to pay for it as a taxpayer. Thank you.
anyone else? Yes, sir.
I think it's quite clear what the law stipulates here and the decision that needs to be made, and it's been alluded to as to what the means were, the mechanisms that brought this hearing about. I think it's time to put it to rest. It's time you as the regular board genuinely works with the planning board. They've made the best decisions in that zoning ordinance to protect the good of the entire community, not just the few people that want to make some money off of a couple turbines. This is the best piece of legislation in the entire county, and it needs to be approved, and approved soon. The county level, if you're under county zoning, you're in deep trouble right now. So keep these members on. They've done a fine job, and I know they will continue to do a fine job in the future.
As council said, the statute provides, there's one thing I disagree with Mr. Howell, and that's what lawyers do. I don't believe that the letters had to specifically state the words malfeasance, misfeasance, or nonfeasance. They had to describe those terms as to how they got there. They must describe the nonfeasance, the misfeasance, or the malfeasance. You don't have to use the words themselves. That's not what the statute says. If the board feels that there's malfeasance, meaning a commission of an unlawful act, or misfeasance or nonfeasance, meaning omission of an act which a person is ought to do, that's the board's decision. That is your decision that you have to make here tonight, based upon what you've heard here tonight.
Anyone else?
I'd like to know from the township lawyer whether the implied threat of the people on the board violating the state law and the what Mr. Henry alluded to, that the township is going to be sued and etc., if that is a factor in the decision.
I don't know if that would be a factor in the board's decision. That's up to the board to make that. And anyone, as Mr. Howell would agree with me, anyone can sue anyone over anything in the circuit court. It happens all the time. That's why we have lawsuits. That's why we have frivolous lawsuits. That's why we have meritorious lawsuits. It's up to the court to determine whether or not it's a frivolous lawsuit, but it's not, financial should not be taken into consideration by the board in making their decision based upon these two gentlemen here tonight. It's based only on the allegations that they made. They can't take a financial interest in this. That's not what they're here to do.
And who is paying this attorney here?
These unlucky gentlemen who are the subject of this hearing are paying my fees in order to defend their honor tonight.
Anyone else?
The bottom line here, I see it, is these guys should not be here subjected to this. And these are always open meetings. People should not be pushed away, pushed aside, shunned. They should be free to speak freely about their concerns. And that's basically what Tim Lally was expressing, was his concerns as to where things were going, and what he had seen in the past. So don't ever be chicken to step up to the plate and say what you feel here. Government starts right here at the township level, get it straightened out here, and then hopefully it'll go on up the scale to Washington, we'll get it right there.
All right, if nobody else has anything to say, we'll close the, pardon? Oh, I'm sorry, please.
I would agree with what Mr. Howell said earlier about driving a wedge into this community a little bit further, because in my opinion, I was part of the board that appointed both of these gentlemen. I interviewed both of them. I think they act with the highest and utmost integrity. They're thoughtful people. They care about the community. They ask the right questions. Due diligence. I think it would be a shame to remove both of these gentlemen from this planning commission. They volunteer at our local recycling, volunteer for many things. They put in a lot of time. I've observed over the years that I worked here, the amount of hours that they volunteered and worked hard. I think it would be a shame to remove these gentlemen from this planning commission. As Mr. Howell said, it's not within the scope of the law. There is no malfeasance. If there is, I'd like to hear what the malfeasance is. There's no misfeasance. If there is, I'd like to hear what it is. And the same with nonfeasance. Perhaps you can ask your township attorney, who you're paying by the hour, who's sitting here tonight. Ask him under the terms of what they're being accused of, if any of those things fall under misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance. I would appreciate that question being asked.
That's not, Clay, that's not for me to determine. That's for the board, that's why they're here. They're here to hear their side. It's up to them to make that determination. I gave them the definition of malfeasance and misfeasance and nonfeasance. It's up to them to make that determination if their actions fall within any of those definitions.
Aren't you here to advise people?
No, this is like a program. It's their decision to make. I can't influence their decision, no more than you can. It's these people here making their decision. They have to make that decision. I can't tell them how to decide.
But you could answer that question about malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance.
I can not answer it for them. They have to answer that question for yourself. That's their decision to make if that's done. I gave them the definition of what constitutes malfeasance and misfeasance. They have to determine whether or not their actions constitute.
And your lawyerly opinion,
I'm not going to give my opinion to influence this board. I think that's improper. That's their decision. That's why you have an open public meeting
Are
here
you
tonight.
paid to help them vote? Are you paid
No, not to vote. I can't tell them how to vote.
But you speak out and give them information, can't you?
I gave them information as to what the definition is. They have to make sure that those definitions fit these allegations that are made against these two gentlemen. That's their job. That's why they're the board.
And do they fit? Will you show us how then now they fit? Will you show us now how the allegations fit? Malfeasance, nonfeasance? No, you won't.